welcome. Thanks for joining me. This is Elizabeth with Wandering Soul Enterprises, and today we are doing a Zodiac yoga sequence for Taurus season. And I meant to get this out at the beginning of Taurus season, and now we're like halfway through it. But you know, it's timeless. You can watch this anytime. It doesn't have to be Taurus season. And I mean, if you want, you can watch it during Taurus season every year from here on out. So I just wanted to kind of do one of these videos for each sign in the Zodiac to focus on specific areas of the body and how that sign kind of interweaves with yoga. So Taurus is the bull. So we're going to be doing cow face pose and cow pose. Also, it's ruled by Venus, so it's got this really earthy, sensual energy. The tarot card associated with Taurus is actually the Hierophant, which is about structure. So since Taurus is such an earthy sign, they like to kind of have a routine and a structure. So I think that's kind of the tie-in with the Hierophant card in the tarot. So we're going to be exploring some of those aspects of the Zodiac sign. And then Taurus is also associated with the throat, the neck, and the vocal cords. So some of our poses will incorporate that as well. So let's go ahead and get started. You can sit on a bolster or just on the ground, whatever feels more comfortable to you. Sit nice and tall. Take a good inhale. And on the exhale, we'll take the chin towards the chest. And then on the inhale, we'll take the gaze towards the ceiling, stretching the front of the throat, being careful not to compress the back of the neck. Inhale, bringing it back to center. On the exhale, we'll take the gaze over the right shoulder. Inhale, bring it back to center. Exhale, take the gaze over the left shoulder. Inhale, bring it back to center. Let's do that one more time. Okay, so next, this might look kind of funny. If you're in front of people, I don't blame you if you don't want to do it, but that's okay. So I'm going to be bringing the tongue into some of these postures. And the reason for that is that it helps to tighten up the muscles around the front of the neck. And so it helps to eliminate like that kind of double chin or sagging look. So it's a good anti-aging technique that I've been incorporating into some of my yoga. So I'm going to turn the gaze up toward the ceiling and then stick the tongue out for about 10 seconds. All right. And I'll just leave it at that for now. You can do a couple of reps of that if you'd like. Okay, so next we're gonna bring the fingertips to the clavicles, and on the exhale, we'll bring the elbows forward. On the inhale, bring them back. So we're warming up the shoulders here, just because the shoulder joints and the bones in the neck are sort of all interconnected. The muscle groups also, so it's good to kind of do both at the same time. Okay, and then we're going to bring the arms by the sides, kind of bending the elbows at 90 degrees and making fist with the hands. On the inhale, we'll bring the arms up to shoulder height. On the exhale, bring it back down. Maybe noticing the shoulder blades gliding along the back. And then we are going to roll the shoulders forward. And then roll the shoulders backward. All right. So at this point, if you're on a bolster, you might want to come down off of this. And let's start with some windshield wiper legs actually, just to kind of warm up the hips a little bit, especially if it's in the morning and you're just warming up. Okay, so this next pose, we're gonna do cow face pose, and everybody's different. You know, some people have a lot of tightness in the hips, some people have a lot of mobility in the hips. So just be happy with where you are and explore this pose on your own terms, okay? That's the main idea here. I like to say to start out with everybody sitting on the ground, but you can also incorporate a block if you need to. So I'll show you what that looks like next. But first of all, let's try sitting on the floor and see how it goes. So we're gonna slide the soles of the feet so that you're bending the knees and the soles of the feet are on the ground. And then we're gonna take the left foot and walk it underneath the right leg, walking that left heel towards the outside of the right hip. And then we'll walk the right leg over so that the right heel comes towards the outside of the left hip. Now, I'm one of those people, I have the hip mobility to bring the heels to the outsides of the hips and then the knees stacked one on top of the other. But a lot of people are more, you know, they feel more comfortable somewhere like this or that. So do whatever makes you feel more comfortable here. Now, also something that happens with a lot of folks is that one of the hips will rise. So if you have one butt cheek lifted up off of the mat. So if that is happening for you, the block can help to even things out. So you want like a nice even surface. So you can place the block and then try doing the pose from there. Sort of like a little balance challenge too, to bring the block in. But I've noticed a lot of my students have had success with that when, like maybe sometimes one hip is tighter than the other and that sort of thing. The block helps to make this pose a little more accessible and to really help you get more benefits out of it. Okay, and cow face pose has a lot of benefits. It helps to squeeze the lymph nodes, so it's really good for the immune system because the lymph nodes don't squeeze themselves. There's not like a heart to pump lymph through your body. You have to pump it yourself with your muscles. So cow face pose is great for squeezing those lymph nodes in the groin area, and also it targets the underarms, which we're going to be doing next. So we have our legs, right, in whatever position feels best for you. Okay, then we're gonna bring the left arm out to a T, I guess. We'll bend the elbow and bring that left hand between the shoulder blades. Now, a couple of options. You can bring the right fingertips to the elbow, or you can bring the right arm out to a T with the palm facing away from you. Bend the elbow and hook the fingers around each other behind the back. You can also bring a strap between the hands if they don't reach. Okay, and then here is where I bring in the tongue again. So we're gonna take the gaze kind of towards that direction of the lifted elbow, and then 10 seconds. Okay, and I blame Coco Face Yoga for all of the tongue stuff. She's great, actually. she can tell you about every muscle in your face and what to do with it. I definitely recommend her YouTube channel. Okay, so now we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. If you had your block before, keep it there. We're gonna walk the right foot underneath the left leg, bringing that right heel to the outside of the left hip. Then we'll bring the left leg over. So this time, the left knee is stacked over the right, or you're somewhere in between, you know, whatever your cow face pose looks like. And I've had people ask, like, why is this called cow face pose? But I don't know, to me, the knees kind of look like a cow's nose a little bit, and then the elbows kind of look like their ears, maybe. I don't know, that's where I'm getting that. That's what I'm seeing. Okay, so from here, we're gonna bring the right arm out to a T. We'll bend the elbow, bring that palm between the shoulder blades. We'll take the left arm out with the palm facing away, bend the elbow, reach the fingertips towards each other. You can also do a modification here if you prefer. And then we'll take the gaze kind of pointing up towards the ceiling in the same direction that that elbow is pointing. And if you'd like to bring the tongue into it, all right. Okay, so that's cow face pose. So let's bring it on to the hands and knees. We're gonna bring the wrist under the shoulders, the knees under the hips, the tops of the feet and the shins pressed down into the mat. The fingers are spread nice and wide. And on the inhale, the tailbone rises, the spine drops to the mat, the chin and the chest rise, coming into cow pose. And exhale, arching the back, turning the gaze towards the belly button. So just following your breath here. Healing, coming back to center. And then let's come up onto the knees. Now you can bring a folded blanket underneath the knees if you need a little extra padding here. And we're going to bring the hands to the waist. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Actually, let's bring the hands to the lower back, the fingertips resting on the tops of the glutes. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, we'll press the hips forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, press the hips forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pressing the hips forward. You can start to take the gaze towards the ceiling, stretching the throat. And then we'll come back up to center. So from here, we're going to bring it down into child's pose. And if you'd like, you can curl the toes in and then reach for the feet. Bring the head in closer to the knees. And then we can practice rabbit pose. So inhale, lifting the hips. Exhale, lowering the hips down to the heels. Inhale, lifting the hips. Exhale, lowering the hips down to the heels. Okay. So let's scoot up to the front of the mat, and then we'll imagine that we're holding a tray of drinks that we don't want to spill, lowering inch by inch down to the mat. And we'll bring the heels in close to the butt, reaching the fingertips towards the heels. Take a nice inhale, exhale, engaging the lower spine. Inhale, release. Exhaling, engaging the lower spine. Inhale, release. Exhale, engaging the lower spine muscles. And inhale, release. I'm saying engage the lower spine. I mean like the muscles around the lower spine. Okay, we'll spread the fingers nice and wide and then pressing through the soles of the feet. On the inhale, we'll lift the hips, coming into bridge pose. Clasping the hands underneath the back, rotating the arms up towards the ceiling, pinning the shoulders to the mat. And then on the exhale, releasing the hips back down to the mat. We'll stretch the legs out, pointing the toes, and inhale, bringing the legs over the head. I'm working on a shoulder stand here. If it's not in your practice, you don't have to do it. You can do legs up the wall if you prefer. Building up some momentum, and then we'll shoot the toes up towards the ceiling. Bring the hands to the lower back, engaging the abs, keeping the gaze straight on the toes. And then on the exhale, bringing the legs over the head for plow pose. Bending the knees, bringing them over the ears, flexing the feet, and then pressing an imaginary ceiling tile back up into the ceiling. And on the exhale, we'll lower one vertebra at a time down to the mat, and then lower the legs little by little down to the mat. Okay. So we're going to work on fish pose, which is really good for opening up the throat. So I like to have the hands underneath the body. You can also have the arms alongside the body if you prefer, but I like to have them underneath. So bring the right hand underneath the right side of the butt, and bring the left hand underneath the left side, palms face down, pointing the toes. We're pressing the forearms into the mat from the elbows all the way to the wrist, and then imagining a hook in the chest, pulling the chest up towards the ceiling on the inhale. And then on the exhale, bringing the back of the head, the crown of the head back towards the mat. You can also bring a block underneath the head. You can also do a restorative version of this pose by reclining on a bolster. And then we'll exhale, bringing the head back down to the mat. Okay, so here, I want to work on strengthening the neck a little bit. So we're going to be doing like head lifts to strengthen the neck. So, you know, we spend a lot of time looking down at our devices, and in yoga, a lot of times we spend a lot of time stretching out the neck and the throat, but we also need to strengthen those muscles as well. So we're going to stay here laying on the back and then just lifting the head. Doing a few reps here to strengthen the neck muscles. I'm doing about 8 of those. Okay, so then we're going to come onto the side of the body. And I've got the arms straight out in front of me. That helps me to feel a little bit more even here. You might also bring a hand to the floor in front of you for stability. And then on the inhale, we'll lift and exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. You can also bring a block underneath the head here if that feels more comfortable. And move your ponytail out of the way. Okay, and then let's come on to the other side. We'll do the other side of the neck. I don't have enough room here. You want the shoulders stacked on top of each other. Okay, so let's make our way onto the stomach now. And we'll have the arms bent at 90 degrees, palms down on the floor, and we're gonna lift the head. Okay, so coming onto this side, pressing the hand in front of you gently, carefully, slowly pressing yourself up into a comfortable seated position. All right, let's work on the vocal cords. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I thought maybe we would do some singing warm-ups. Not too much, but I think that will help to really activate the vocal cords. So, and it's first thing in the morning for me, so hopefully this goes okay. We're gonna start with a high squeal and go low, and then we're gonna do the low roar up to the high squeal, okay? So, ready, and inhale. One more time. All right, that's a lot of fun. It really gets the vocal cords warmed up. It's not something I've ever done in yoga before. It's more of a choir thing, but you know, it warms up the vocal cords. So I'm gonna bring out the yoga bell now. And this is the bell for the throat chakra. I'm gonna play the tone and then we can do an om, and then I'll end with playing the bell, okay? And then we'll do our own, okay? Inhale, bring the hands up overhead, bring the hands together. On the exhale, we'll take the hands to the forehead for a thought well thought. We'll bring the hands to the mouth for a word well spoken. Bring the hands to the heart for a deed well done. Thank you for joining me for this Taurus Zodiac yoga practice. The light within me salutes the light within you. Namaste.